New 72 Radio, the voice, views, and visions of the collective.
My name is Mary Berger, and welcome to Waking the Spirit. I'm just going to start by taking a deep breath. It has been an incredibly busy day, an incredibly busy week, and just want to start out by taking a deep breath. So if you all would like to join me, just take a deep breath in and breathe out. So thank you for joining me this evening. I am so very excited. I've got two very special guests tonight, and I'll be bringing them in a few moments. But I just had a few things I wanted to cover with everyone before I brought my guests in. So 2 years ago, Spirit kind of knocked me on the head, woke me up from a sound sleep, and basically said to me, it's time to get to work. You haven't been doing the work for 50, blah, 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 some odd years, and it's time to wake up and get to work. And from that moment, a couple of years ago, I have been steadily listening to their guidance and doing what they asked me to do. It started out slow. They gave me about 6 months where I just kind of explored any topic that came to me. Whatever topic they wanted me to learn about, I explored it and learned and devoured and was in awe the entire time. And about 6 months into it, they knocked me on the head again, and they said, okay, you've done enough learning for now. We want you to keep learning, but we also have some work for you to do. And they slowly guided me into doing what it is they wanted me to do. For those of you who don't know me, I own a computer business, computer consulting, and I fix and repair computers, both Windows and Mac. And anything that needs to be done to a computer, I can do. So Spirit asked me to start slowly incorporating my spiritual side and my spiritual beliefs into my business. I had no idea what that would look like or how I would do that, but I followed their guidance, and I kind of improvised at the beginning. And then I was guided to take Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, and I got my attunements, and I've been doing Reiki on computers, and I bring in the angels when it's necessary to work on a job. And they've been great partners for me. So, and that was probably a year, 15 months ago. So I've been doing that ever since. And of course, this year, at the beginning of this year, they knocked me on the head again, and they said, Mary, we have another project for you, and we are going to reveal it step by step. And I call that the Emily May Project. And if you want to know more information about that, you can certainly go to my website. I've set up a website for it, emilymay.com, and it will tell you all about it. But at any rate, there is this Emily May Project going on, and I am being guided to find out what it is step by step. And I don't quite know what it is yet. I have some good inklings, but all will be revealed at the right time. So I asked Spirit in a reading, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so what is this going to look like as I start to take a little bit of time away from my regular computer diva business and I funnel some time into Emily May? I'm going to need some financial support, and how am I going to accomplish that? Because I certainly don't want Spirit to put a bucket of money on my desk and say, here you go, live on that while you figure out what Emily May is. That's not the point. I want to work for my money. I want to earn my money. And so they basically said to me, we are going to kind of guide you through that. And they said, we want you to do some exploration on what they call bridge products, products that I could sell on my website to give me a steady stream of income while I'm trying to figure this all out and go down the Emily May path. So I have started to put together my bridge products, and I wanted to talk for just a minute about the first product, and it is what I call the technology candle. And the technology candle is, it's a candle infused with special properties that will help you create a sacred, safe, loving space between you and your technology. So I happen to have one of the prototypes here. I had 3 prototypes made, and I have 2 friends of mine who are experimenting with the prototypes and giving me feedback. And I've gotten a lot of feedback so far, and I'm really excited about it. And so I've got it lit, and I'm just going to kind of hold it up here. Let's see what you guys can see. So, prototype of the candle. It's just a soy wax, very high quality soy wax, and it's got this ribbon wrapped around it. The color of the ribbon is going to change. The label on the candle here is going to change. I actually have a friend who's a very talented artist who's going to take a crack at designing the label for me. So I'm very excited about that. I expect sometime in the next 30 days that we start production on the final candle, and I have that up on my website for sale. So that's the candle. Properties of the candle. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to put my glasses on. So the candle contains lavender for calming and soothing the area and the energies that come into contact with your technology. It includes some sage for blessing and cleansing the area of all energies. It contains rose for surrounding the area with love and compassion. It contains sodalite stones, which will, of course, absorb the electromagnetic pollution that is emanating from the technology. It will keep both the technology and the user safe. And finally, it contains black obsidian, which pulls out the negative energies of the user and the computer. And in my work, I highly believe that computers have their own energy field. They have their own energetic properties. I know for a fact through a reading that the computers communicate with each other. They're all energy, and don't let that freak you out. They're all just energy, and they communicate with each other, and they know that I'm out here healing the computers, and they're grateful and thankful, and they're spreading the word amongst all the other computers out there that I am out here fixing computers. So anyway, this candle is for you. This candle is for your computer, and I will keep everyone posted as to when this candle will become available. So that will be my first bridge product. I have other products that I'm working on. I'm putting together on my technology side a Windows 10 webinar, and I hope sometime in the next month to have that pulled together, to have the outline done, and to be able to offer that as a live webinar for you all to join in and learn about tips and tricks on Windows 10. And then the recording will be available on my website for purchase. And I have ideas for another candle. I have ideas for a lot of other things, but I'll keep that mum for now. So before I bring my guests in, I want to talk a little bit about some upcoming shows on New 72 Media, and I want to do that now because we may get so engrossed in our conversation that we forget to do it at the end. So I want to make sure I do it now. So the first thing I wanted to make sure you all know about is Sonia Wilder has a show on New 72 Media. It's called The Practice of Healing with Sonia Wilder, and she is on Tuesdays, the same week I'm on. We're both on every other week, and she does her show on Tuesday mornings, and I always try and listen. I never make it live because I'm usually out rescuing a computer, but I always catch the recording afterwards, and Sonia does a fabulous show. She's charming, she's intelligent, she's articulate, she's highly spiritual, and I learned something from every single one of her shows that I watch. And her show this past Tuesday was wrapped around manifesting. And she stated in the show that she had actually covered this topic last fall on one of her first shows, but she wanted to cover it again because she feels that there's a lot of people out there having a problem really grasping the concept. And it was a great show, great watch. It was probably about 25-30 minutes long, so it won't take up a lot of your time to watch, but you can head over to YouTube to the new 72 Media channel, and it's posted right there, and you can watch it there. I would highly recommend watching Sonia. She's fabulous. Next week on New 72 Media, Jeremy White is doing his show, Ancient Stories of the Celtic Isle. That will be next week. And next Tuesday at 5 o'clock, a very special show. I'm just going to kind of move a couple of my screens around here so I can see the details. New 72 Media is putting together a new concept using the Zoom technology that is called the Portal of Awareness. And they will be doing an informational show next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And it's a 30-minute informational show followed by 30 minutes of community discussion. And so the concept of this show, basically, so I'm instead of trying to put it in my own words, I'm going to read to you from the actual event that's posted on Facebook. It says, Portal of Awareness. The mission is providing an online portal for community support of the consistent practice of meditation, reflection, healing, and awareness for all individuals, fostering the practice of walking in gratitude with a heart filled with love, compassion, and unconditional acceptance of all. It's going to be an amazing portal, and if you want to find out more information about it, or if you would like to participate as a portal host, you can head over to Facebook and go to New 72 Media, go to their page, and it's posted there. I'll also post a link on my Waking the Spirit page. So with all of that said, I'm going to bring in my guests. So my guests tonight, I'm really, really excited to have them on the show. Debby Wallace and Theresa Silva. They are two women who are partners in a business called Ancient Mystic Moon, and their website is ancientmysticmoon.com. And I had the pleasure of visiting them at their shop in Portland last week, and they gave me a tour and told me all about what it is they do and their business. So I am going to bring them in here. Let's see if I can find them. I see two viewers in the queue, but I'm going to promote you to panelist TD Tim. I think that's Debby. And let's see, bear with me here. It is. So, Debby, you are on mute. So if you would unmute.
You're on mute.
There they are. Awesome. Very good. Welcome to the show, Debby and Theresa.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad you're able to join us tonight.
Well, thank you, Mary, so much for inviting us. And I think both Theresa and I decided that we need about 10 of your candles each.
Bonfire around the bonfire technical.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Jamie Whaley, who manufactures these candles and manufactures tons of wonderful candles. I'm just going to have to tell Jamie that when we're ready for production, she's going to have to make several dozen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm glad it's being well received. So what I want to do is start out by, and I don't care what order we go in, if we want to do Debby first or Theresa first. just maybe each of you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background and your gifts and the wonderful things you do for everybody. And we're now at the point where we can only see your eyes and your forehead. There we go. Awesome. Good job. Did you figure out how to turn the camera around?
Well,
We thought we did, but obviously not.
it turned itself back the other way when we while we were waiting in the queue.
Okay.
Hence the candles. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we'll make sure you get candles. And just so everybody who's listening in knows, they can't see us at all, but we can see them. So if the camera slips a little bit, I'll just let you know.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want you looking up our nose or anything like that. Pretty
Sure.
my name's Debby Wallace, and I am co-owner of Ancient Mystic Moon with Theresa Silva here in Portland, Oregon. And I'm a certified Reiki master, angelic healer, and a past life regression practitioner. I also engage in life coaching and spiritual mentoring. I've actually been a spiritual mentor for most of my life without actually realizing it. I remember when I was a kid growing up, all the guys would come to me and want to talk to me about their girlfriends and the girlfriends they wanted, and there I am just talking to them about that instead of, and other things I could have been talking to them about. Anyway, I actually started becoming aware of my awakening when my son was in high school. He was maybe 14, 15 years old, and pretty typical for a teenager. He always liked to press the limits as far as my patience, could handle. And so I began going up to the grotto to just searching. I just searching and finding peace. And an interesting thing happened as I began doing that. And I would be driving along a dark street on my way home or to an event or whatever it was, and the street lights would begin to go off. And then after I'd pass, they would go back on. And sometimes it would be one, and sometimes it would be two or three, and they would always go back on. And at first, I just kind of chalked it up to some weird coincidence, or maybe the city wasn't changing out their lights. I mean, who knows? But finally, it started happening with a lot more frequency. And my husband and I had taken a trip, and I had taken the dog out into a parking lot to potty. And when I got out there, all the lights in the whole parking lot went out, and I'm standing there in the dark. And it was like, okay, I guess I better start paying attention. So long story short, after Theresa's husband Larry passed away in 2010, she and I became really more connected. I mean, we had known each other over the years, but we really connected after that time. And she introduced me to Renee Madsen, who is a psychic medium.
Right.
She became instrumental in guiding me into my knowingness, especially helping me to realize that I am an energy healer. And not a day goes by that I don't thank these two beautiful souls for guiding me into myself. Anyway, Theresa and I started Ancient Mystic Moon back in October of 2014, and we started offering classes. We have drumming classes occasionally and meditation classes. And currently, we're looking at an automatic writing class coming up on the 12th of May. And we're also, since we're both Reiki masters, we're also going to sponsor a medical Reiki class, which is groundbreaking here in the Pacific Northwest. with Raven Keys. And she's coming out from New York, and we're having it here at the Ancient Mystic Moon. And anybody who, it's going to be July 9th and 10th. And so we're really excited about that. Coming up on the 21st of April, Theresa and I are also starting our own radio show. It'll be at 4 o'clock on a Thursday. And Raven Keys is going to be our first guest, and she'll be here talking with us and with everybody out there about the medical Reiki that's coming to Portland. So we're pretty excited about that.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited about that.
So in the Reiki also we'll be discussing, because Debbie does teach Reiki, so I'm thinking we need to discuss first, second, and third, 11 classes that she can teach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Theresa, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and your special gifts and talents?
Hi, I'm Theresa Wolf Silva, and I call myself a seer and wellness practitioner. As a seer, which is a little bit more than a medium and a psychic and an intuitive. Basically, as a seer, I provide psychic, intuitive, medium-style readings. I do go between dimensions because I see things, particularly lately, I'm seeing things as if everything is in the form of a dreidel. It all spins. When I was a child, I experienced through sight and sound worlds different than the one I was living in. I learned that I should rarely share my experiences. As a child, it was just sacred not to. So most people didn't know what I could do. And it became a big issue when my husband passed in 2010. I was very upset, needless to say. And I did declare to the universe that I knew that I could communicate with them and that I was ready to open up. Since that declaration, my gifts have expanded, even in the mediumship part, in that I do share messages through readings, through automatic writing, and dreams. Sometimes I'll have a dream that I just know I have to call somebody to tell them the message. All of my messages come from either a loved one, angels, guides, or even your higher self. I always set the intention when I'm doing a reading for the highest good of the client and all involved, so that I know that I'm getting the purest information I can for my individual. I'm also adding rune readings, some of which is becoming a little bit channeled. This is kind of a new piece I've been adding. I'm now working with the runes from Northumberland along with the Elder Futar. So basically, I now use a set of runes that consists of 33 tiles rather than the normal 24. As a wellness practitioner, this is kind of the almost woo-woo side of me. I use vibrational-based modalities of reflexology and essential oils. Reflexology, I started back in 1964 was my first book, and life got away from me. And I didn't start it up again until about 2003 for my husband's health. But at this point, I am a Washington State certified reflexology. And as of a few weeks ago, I received notification that I am a national member of the American Reflexology Certification Board. So I finally, through testing, through many hours of practicum and documenting that practicum, I've finally gotten national certification.
Congratulations, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. It's kind of a life goal, and it's one of those things you can check off and say, I did it. I'm also a member of the Oregon Reflexology Network, which is a Oregon Southwest-based organization of reflexologists local here. And you can see them at events such as the women's event that's going on at the at the
Expo Center.
Expo Center, and up at the Lavender Fair at Hood River, and we've done reflexology sessions at other events. So I do traditional reflexology, but I also do spiritual forms of reflexology. I'm developing something called angelic reflexology. This will be a session of reflexology combined with a mediumship type reading, so that your angels, your guides, your higher self, while you're in that relaxed reflexology state, is able to communicate and bring messages through for you. It's kind of new. I've been working on it. Then I also do ray reflexology, which comes out of South Africa. It's a form of reflexology that is so light and so non-invasive that it literally puts you to sleep and puts you into a theta type sleep, so that your body just truly relaxes. It's very, very spiritual. And then I'm also a wholesale member of Young Living Essential Oils. So I do share essential oils through make and takes for classes, any information regarding wellness of your body, your spirit, and your feelings, emotions.
Wow.
I'm working on some products to sell, but at this point I'm not certain totally what they are.
Well, that's quite a list of things you do and credentials you have. That's impressive.
Thank you.
So why don't you start by telling all our viewers about Ancient Mystic Moon and where you're located and what your hours are, if you have set hours, and your camera is kind of drifting a little. So there we go. Now we can see.
Ancient Mystic Moon is, like I said before, it's a healing arts center, and everybody has different needs, and they have different perceptions of what they need or what they'll believe is for their highest good. So what we try and do is we try, and Theresa and I both work with the angels, but we try and make each session individual to the client. Whether they need chakra clearing, or they need a reading, a reflexology treatment, Reiki treatment. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we can do. Right now, we're going to start being open on Thursdays from, what did we say, noon to 3? Noon to 3, and always appointment. You know, you can get us and we'll meet you here or do whatever is necessary. Sometimes Theresa can do mobile reflexology, where she'll come to your house and help you out there, and that way you don't have to leave your house. You can just relax in your chair, because a lot of times after you're through with the reflexology treatment, you're so relaxed driving, it may take you a minute or two to come back to the real world and be awake enough to actually drive.
Actually, I love it when I put you to sleep. And I do that. I have been noted to have, particularly my mechanic, he falls asleep every time. His wife tosses the blanket over him, and then I do her feet. So it works really nice. Also, for terminally ill people, I find it is best for me to do it mobile, because for them to maneuver about through traffic and buses or cars is very difficult. For them, it needs to be relaxing.
Elderly people too.
Elderly, yes.
They particularly don't like to run around at night. So it's very helpful for them to have somebody come into their home so they don't have to be out driving. So there's a lot of stuff like that. And we've even gone to people's homes, particularly like Theresa says, people who are sick, and done angelic healings or Reiki, for people.
Yeah.
So we try to take into consideration what's going to be in the best interest of the client. And every person, like I said, is different, and their needs are different. And so we try to accommodate that as best we can. Our clientele is very important to us, and the healing work that we do and working with the angels and the universe and spirit is incredibly important to us. It's no joking. It's not a funny business to us at all.
No.
You know, we take it very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and a lot of people who haven't been through healings such as this before might look on it as what a fun experience, which it is. You know, it can be a really fun experience, but it's also serious. Communication with your angels is a serious matter, and it's to be respected and hold in reverence. So with that said, tell me a little bit about your angelic healings and how you approach those, and what maybe a typical session might look like.
The angelic healing is different than the Reiki by far. You have to set the mood of the room differently. I have people come in, and I always like to smudge them especially if I'm going to do an angelic healing. Sometimes it isn't necessary. Sometimes the energies are such that when you're doing a Reiki, with me anyway, I can clear the energy as I'm doing the treatment. But when I'm working with the angels, I like to respect the angels, and I like to respect their energy, and because I'm going to be working with them, and I am not actually doing the work. I am working for them,
channeling their energy through
myself. And I stand back and allow myself to just not even be there, because it's not about me. It's about the client, and it's about the angels working through me to do their work. And a lot of times with the angel work, they aren't necessarily doing as much a physical healing, as sometimes it's just an emotional healing. Sometimes it's just preparation when somebody's getting ready to pass, to allow them to let go and, you know, take care of any unfinished business that they might have. And there again, that being said, again, it's not me. It's not ego-based in any way, shape, or form. I'm just being a conduit, plain and simple. Yeah.
I know I start usually with an intention of prayer to the angels. I know that Debbie does also. Debbie is very attached to Archangel Michael. In fact, he basically is with her on a daily basis and has personally communicated such with her. So it is a matter of really calling in the angels and then stepping aside and letting them do their work.
Yeah. Sometimes, interestingly enough, even though I'm not a medium per se, I do get messages that come through for people when I'm doing the angelic work. And as working with any of the angels, it's all light and love energy. There's never anything dark. But what I like to do is I like to have people come in, and I like to smudge them. And then I usually have my candles lit and ready to go. And I have the room fairly warm, not overly warm, but warm, a little warmer than normal. And I have them lay down and talk to me about any of their concerns, and talk to them about any angels that they feel particularly connected to. And then we set the intention, the prayer of intention, and I walk them through a little bit of a meditation to get them relaxed, receptive. And then I call in the angels and allow them to do their work. It's actually beautiful working with the angels. I prefer working with them to anybody else. They're awesome.
And Debbie is an expert at chakra clearing.
Chakra clearing is big.
It's a big thing. Particularly, that's how you energetically get your body back in shape.
And balanced.
And balanced, so that you can go about your life and that your whole body is in sync, so you don't have part of your, physical systems out of sync makes it difficult for you. And the chakra clearing there again is very spiritual. She does use a pendulum that happens to be the Blessed Mary metal even. And then Debbie is also, you didn't mention, but she's a past life regression. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she mentioned that at the beginning.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. This is probably when I was trying to catch my breath.
Yeah, we're going to actually, when we get going with our radio show, I'm going to do a past life regression on Theresa. She is so much fun because she just gives you so much information. I don't know how I'm going to stick it all in an hour. I mean, I kid you not. She just really can connect, and
I go somewhere.
yeah, she goes somewhere, all right. And she is so informative. I've learned so much about Lemuria and Atlantis and Africa. Didn't we do Africa?
Yeah, with a lot of Celtic.
Yeah, and Celtic. It's been really a lot of fun doing the past life regressions with Theresa.
So I've been through a past life regression session with Amir Beth, and I don't think, I had no clue what to expect when I went into it. And I had a particular intention set for what I wanted to learn, which I learned that plus a whole lot more. And it was just completely different from what I thought. In my mind, you just kind of have to, go through the guided meditation to really calm yourself and relax yourself. And then I think the biggest takeaway from me from doing a past life regression was the fact that, so you're laying there in this, kind of semi-hypnotic state. You're fully aware of everything that's going on around you. You're being guided through this meditation, and then you start talking. Things start coming to you. And at first I resisted, and I laid there and I thought, I've got these things going through my head, and I don't know if this is real or if it's just, my mind playing tricks on me. But I finally decided, okay, whatever pops in my head is what's coming out my mouth. And it turned out to be a really interesting story. And I don't know, that's the only experience I've ever had with a past life regression. So I don't know how, it works for other people, if it's different, or did what I describe as something typical that happens with your clients?
Well, again, as with any other, treatment or therapy or session, whatever you want to call it, everybody is individual, and where you might be resistant, there are people who are not resistant, and they're easy to regress, and you can usually get a lot of information. If someone has difficulty relaxing and trusting, if they've got trust issues, then sometimes it takes a little longer to go through the steps to get them relaxed enough to actually trust, that you're going to keep them safe. Because people have a lot of fears about the unknown. And going into another lifetime or another dimension can be really scary to some people. The first time I regressed my husband, I was actually practicing because I had just started learning, and I was all excited about it. And my husband is, he's pretty in tune himself, and he's a healer in his own right, and he's very sensitive, and he gets messages all the time, and he's really connected. Anyway, I took him under, and he went under for me, and he was really good. And then all of a sudden I asked him, I says, well, can you describe for me what it is that you're seeing? And he says, it's all black.
Fortunately, I've been there a few times to his all black space, and he was in outer space looking down.
Yeah, he was pre-utero. He hadn't come in yet, and he was, I don't know what he thought he was doing out there, but he was hanging out in the ethers, and it's like, oh my God, now what do I do? how do I get him where I need him to be? I can't do anything with him when he's just energy, you know.
Fortunately, I was aware of what was happening, and so I kept telling Debbie, actually, I got a buddy on that one, and told her how to bring him in.
She wrote me little notes because she didn't want to break the break the connection that we had. So we were writing little notes back and forth, like, oh my God, now what? It was
nice. It was a good one.
Yeah. I've kind of gotten the handle on it, but with him, he just kind of goes wherever he darn well pleases. He doesn't guide very easily. When I take him down, it's just kind of I get whatever it is I get. Plain and simple. But
I think one of the things that I like most when I do a past life regression with Debbie is that when you are in a past life, eventually you're going to die. We all die in the lives that we are at. And depending on what you're searching for, what your attention is, a lot of times your death can be, at least mine have been very dramatic. And Debbie, the minute she senses that you're headed to that spot, she zips you away to a healing spot so that actually you view how you pass, but you don't experience it, which is a big thing. I mean,
some people, part of the death experience is part of the lesson that they're looking for, or that they need, so that they can complete whatever it is that their issues are in this present life. But sometimes it's not necessary to do that. Right. Sometimes just whatever's going on in the regression is enough to solve, or at least make them realize why they're experiencing some of the issues that they are in this lifetime.
Yes, and Debbie, like I said, Debbie is very good at that. I had one past life where I was on the rack, and she had asked, and I said, explain what was happening, and she did whisk me away because I am certain I would have experienced, at least mentally, what was happening at the time. It was kind of gruesome.
Yeah.
On the rack.
Yeah. I had another gal that I did, and she was always having neck issues. And so I regressed her, and come to find out she was hung. She was a witch, wasn't she? She was a witch. She was a witch, and they hung her. And so we had to bring her down and out of there.
Yeah.
It was not pretty, but
you wouldn't want to relive that experience again.
Not if you don't have to.
Yeah. So it's really, I enjoy past life regression because all of my life I've slipped in and out of dimensions. I knew about the blackness because I do that in journeys. I go to many different places when I journey. Yeah. And in my dreams, I've had very prophetic dreams even as a child. So for me, it's just filling in some of the pieces of dream worlds that I've been in before. And in reality, they're just dimensions.
Yeah, it's all just dimensions and experience and energy. It's the trick to the past life regression is to bring it into your present knowingness, so that you can release the energy, because sometimes that energy traps you into a cycle that you have difficulty breaking free from, and it stops your actual progression.
Right. It's a process.
So it's another form of healing.
So when you do this on the show, so you're going to do a past life regression on Theresa during your show. Is this going to be a live show, or are you going to pre-record it?
We're going to pre-record it. I'm certain because partially I would like to hear it before we put it out there publicly, because you never quite know
exactly
come out.
Yeah, and one of the things about past life regressions is that they're private.
Yeah.
For the most part, not everybody wants their information out there.
Right.
When you go to somebody who does this type of work, it's really important for the client to be able to trust that this information it won't go any further. And,
Exactly.
you know, it's just like a doctor-patient privilege kind of a thing. You know, so yeah, we're going to pre-record that one, and I'll probably have to, I think I'll edit out the steps I take to do the actual regression, because I wouldn't want anybody to, you know, go into a regression where it wasn't in a controlled environment either.
Oh, you mean kind of putting her in the hypnotic state?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Have my part down so it'll fit into an hour.
Yeah, hopefully. Although I almost just have to snap my fingers these days, and Theresa can almost just kind of go into it without me having to guide her.
And that's true. If we set an intention, like I said, to me, it's another form of journeying. I love journeying. I will be teaching classes on journeying. So to me, it's just going to another dimension, another place. I see our world as a time. It's not a timeline as much as a time spiral where things touch, and worlds do kind of touch in, so you can slide between worlds through journeying, through past lives.
That's why she's so good at getting messages and guidance for people. She also does animal communication.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah, she's found my dog a couple of times. Yeah.
I'm really glad you mentioned that. I'm really glad you mentioned that.
Pardon me?
I said, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that was kind of niggling at the back of my mind that, you know, I wanted Theresa to say a little bit about what she does with the animals.
I forgot. It's something that just kind of pops up. Most recently, I love working with animals. They are my people, or animals before people sometimes. I have my own pets. We communicate. I communicate with my own donkeys all the time when they're in the stalls and I know they're upset. And I just love the information they give me. The most recent was I helped a friend who was retiring her horse from Sandy, Oregon to Wyoming. And this horse doesn't load well in trailers and is very, very anxious, has very bad experiences traveling. So my friend had purchased a very expensive moving company for the horse, but she was still really concerned. So I went and spent time with Sarah before she loaded, so that she got to know me and knew that she could communicate with me. And we, so when she loaded, I was not there. I was at home communicating with Sarah and helping walk her through. And as she traveled between Sandy, Oregon and Wyoming, I checked in through the day. I know it all sounds unusual, but animals, once they know that you can hear their thoughts, they're chatty. They're willing to share information. They're willing to tell you things that you never would even expect, because when Sarah arrived in Wyoming, I said, "How you doing?" And all this conversation is in my mind and hers. And she said, "My legs are killing me." I said, "Well, why?" And she says, "You don't understand. Oh, I can feel the trailer moving and I have nothing to hold on to." And it was like a knock in my head. Oh my God, I've never thought of that. I have transported animals myself thinking, oh, well, they can just do that. Well, it's really something to stand in a moving trailer. What human can stand in a moving trailer and not hold on to something?
Right.
I've worked with dogs.
Yeah,
all the vibrations. So I've worked with dogs, other horses, cats. I had my first experience was with a dog trying to find a lost dog. I must admit, we never found it, but he did lead me on a merry chase, showed me everywhere he had been until he died. And then he showed me with his friends that had passed over the Rainbow Bridge. And so when I talked to the daycare provider who was looking for him, I described dogs that he was with, and she said, "Oh, those are his housemates that have passed." I said, "Well, then he's passed." And when I asked the little dog, you know, "Where is your body? It would be a feather in my cap, and your mommy really needs to have your body." He said, it melted. I said, show me your body. And lo and behold, it did look like it melted. And there's this little lumpy white dog all crunched over, a little tiny thing. And so it's, like I said, they're really willing to communicate. I get really excited about animals, as you can tell. I've had 2 donkeys that pass. Both of them come into my kitchen in their spiritual form to visit with other family members, or so it's. And when you do a reading, you'll be surprised how many people have animals that come. Cats, dogs
That come with them.
that come with them. That some of them come from childhood memories even. So I love the animal communication.
Yeah. Well, they're always with you. They're always with you.
They are always with you. They never they cross over, but they also come and visit all the time.
Yeah.
I know I have small dogs, and so I always count them when they come in and out the front door. And for a while there, I was leaving one of them outside continuously. And I finally realized when I was counting one of my other previous little dogs that was playing with them outside. So I finally told him, you have to walk behind me, not in front of me, so I don't leave the living dogs outside.
When she was looking for my dog Chula, she found some interesting information about Chula. Chula's little. She only weighs about 12 pounds.
Okay.
She's really small dog, and I asked her where she described everywhere she'd been, so she showed me her whole walk, and then she was picked up, and she told me she was picked up by a little dark-haired girl, and I'm going, okay, fine. So we're looking for a little dark-haired girl around this school area, and I've told Debbie that, and Debbie went and posted the pictures of the dog and that she was lost and all of that. And she got a call from a school teacher, smallish lady, dark-haired, who had picked up Chula and taken her home, hoping to find somebody who she belonged to. But then I told Chula, that's an adult. And she said, no, everybody's children, because
They're
all bigger than her, even a child. And so she knows that a child is, this size, and they just get bigger children.
Yeah, exactly.
All of us as children, no adults.
She wanted to come home, but she sure liked that lady's scrambled eggs that morning.
She kept showing me scrambled eggs.
Well, at least she was being treated very well.
She was.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Right. And I'm going to be developing some raindrop for dogs and horses. Raindrop technique using the essential oils.
So what's a raindrop technique? Explain to our listeners.
Okay, a raindrop technique is using 9 of the essential oils in a progressive pattern down the spine of the back, particularly on dogs. But on horses, you're going to do kind of their chests, their fetlocks, their feet, and you're going to apply the oils, and then you're going to feather them along the spine. And there are a few other kind of massage techniques that you can use on the horses. What it does is these oils allow for a relaxation. You can tailor the 9 oils for certain issues, wellness issues. I know that Gary Young has a lot of horses at his Young Living Farms in Utah. And they are always shipping them because they're the great big Clydesdales and those big draft horses. So they usually do a raindrop technique on their horses just prior to shipping. And then when they get wherever they're shipped, they receive another raindrop. It's just to give them that calmed, relaxed, because this just brings them into a calmed state.
Right.
And a lot of times if an animal, a horse particularly, needs to be in a show and they have angst, over-performing, because animals do get anxious. They can feel their humans' anxieties, and then they just reflect the anxiety of their owners. So it's best to do reflexology for the owner, but also then a treatment on the horse provides both the owner and the horse with calmness so they can go out and perform.
And it smells awesome.
It does
And
smell.
it does, with 9 different essential oils.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So which oils do you use?
Oh, I knew she'd ask. Well, the first one is Valor. We use aroma sage, oregano, thyme, basil, peppermint, rosemary, wintergreen, sometimes marjoram.
Yeah, and sometimes if the horse has a particular issue that you want to deal with, so maybe he's more agitated, you might use more lavender.
Right.
You know, replace some of the basic oils with something that's going to work better for whatever situation the animal is in.
Grounding, the essential oil grounding is absolutely perfect for animals and horses that are really agitated, because that's, you have to also make certain that the animal is going to accept the essential oil. Because animals' noses are so much more highly tuned. So you're going to kind of play with the oils to get to know the animal first. I know what my donkey's like. I know grounding works absolutely wonderful. And there again, you don't necessarily need to do a full treatment. I have one of my critters has got a sensitive stomach, so I can just use it on his ears, do his ear reflexes, and not necessarily touch his back.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the kind of premise of your show and what it is you hope to give the viewers when you do. Now, first of all, is it going to be a monthly show or every other week?
We're going to start out as a monthly show.
Okay.
And I think the premise we're going to use probably is going to have to do with different stuff out there. I think Theresa and I had talked about doing a show on the manifestation as well.
Right. So kind of alternative, what is there out there? Alternative healing, because it would be fun to maybe just to show some basic reflexology information. And then just some basic tools like vision boards, how you use those.
Awesome.
I did have one client who was guided by her guides to create some vision boards, which I know I can share, because they really were an interesting way, a new way that I thought of looking at vision boards from a family's point of view. Not, normally you see vision boards as directed exclusively to an individual or an individual's desires and needs. And I know that, so I did scribble down what her guides had said before I forgot. There's a lot of times when I get a message for somebody, they'll come and say, "Now, do you remember?" And I'm going, no.
Yeah, that's good.
No, I don't remember. So there's something that I felt was for me also to keep in mind, because it was a very clever way of using vision boards. So I think we're just kind of going to,
we're going to start there. We're going to start with the medical Reiki, and just kind of use it as a base to bring awareness for some of the stuff out there, that even maybe do a show on angelic healing, the writing, the automatic writing. That was another one we talked about. Maybe doing a show, and maybe having some questions and answers, an opportunity for people to ask questions. But I don't know, we'll just kind of have to see where it goes from there.
right.
But it'll be once a month. It'll be the third Thursday of the month.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. And tell me just a little bit. So the first one is going to be on April 21st. And like you said, Reagan Keys is going to be on and talking about medical Reiki. Can you give our listeners just a real quick idea of what medical Reiki is?
Oh, medical Reiki is groundbreaking here in the Pacific Northwest. What it is, it's Reiki practitioner, and you need to be a master Reiki practitioner for this one. And she teaches you how to work within the medical field alongside traditional medicine, so that you can give Reiki during a surgery, or other treatments, and help the doctors to realize that it's okay, that we're not trying to step on anybody's toes, and to help it become more acceptable.
Now, is this actually taking place in other parts of the country?
It is. They're doing it in New York. They're doing it in Canada. They're doing it in the UK. Yeah, they're doing it in Europe. She's been teaching it all over the place.
So they would have, like, in an operating room, they'd have the surgical team, plus they'd also have the Reiki practitioner.
Exactly, exactly.
And it's not only for the patient. I would say that Reiki, when it is extended out to an entire room of people, it would help the doctors and nurses and the patient themselves provide a calmness and a stillness that brings universal energy
And healing.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's basically what it is in a nutshell. And she's going to be teaching not the Reiki itself, because in theory, if you're a master Reiki practitioner, you should know Reiki.
Exactly.
Besides that, Reiki is individual to the practitioner anyway. But how to maneuver around the traditional medical field.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not going to replace anything, so it's just a complement to what is already in place in the medical field.
Right.
It really is just something that's going to be supported and complementary, not replacing doctors or any of that.
It was my understanding when we began the process to host this that they had started a program along these lines in Salem, and they're doing it with oncology and with hospice and different other areas there, and they're doing it on a free basis, and they've got some gals that are working there, and I'm really excited to meet them because they're coming out to do this class and talk with them about how their progress is working. But it's mostly about making or allowing Reiki to become mainstream, just like chiropractic or
Naturopaths became mainstream.
Naturopaths.
Awesome.
That's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. So I'm so looking forward to your first show. I think that's going to be amazing. So I just want to wrap up by letting everybody know that, again, their website is ancientmysticmoon.com, and Theresa Wolf Silva and Debby Wallace, and I'm kind of looking over here to the right at their website, which is beautiful. Lots of nice, beautiful colors on it. So I want to thank you both for being on the show. I had such a wonderful time chatting with you and learned a lot from you, and I hope our listeners did as well. And I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Well, thank you for having us, Mary.
Yes, thank you, Mary.
We really enjoyed chatting with you too.
All right, very good. So we look forward April 21st at 4 p.m. Your very first show. Oh, what is your show called?
Oh, Talk Time with Debby and Theresa.
Talk Time with Debby and Theresa. Okay, all right. So I'm sure that as the coming weeks go by, that advertisements will be placed on Facebook, and I will share those out, and we'll get the word out that you guys have this wonderful new show.
We appreciate that.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So with that said, I'm going to change their role here to viewer. So I just want to thank everybody who tuned in and listened to this show, and wow, a lot of awesome information there from both Theresa and Debby, and Medical Reiki sounds fascinating. So don't forget to tune into their show, April 21st. We'll get the word out about it. And just as a reminder, talk to you about, where are my notes here? Next week, don't forget to listen in on Jeremy White, Ancient Stories of the Celtic Isle. And then, of course, next Tuesday at 5 p.m., New 72 Media, Kelly, who is our producer behind the scenes, will actually be heading up the Portal of Awareness. This will be an informational show, 1-hour show. Make sure you tune in. We'll share that link out on Facebook. So I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Kelly Lair, who is our producer working behind the scenes and making this all happen. She is amazing and marvelous, and I really appreciate her talents and her efforts and her passion to get all of this information out there for all of you. So with that said, thank you very much, and I will be signing off, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Good night, everyone.